Good evening, students. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will discuss a major topic, that is the chapter sound. This is the chapter 12 sound. So basically we will cover the basic concept today in this session, and then we will move to the deeper one. So first to discuss sound, the question is, what is actually sound? What sound actually? It is actually the form of energy. Sound is actually the form of energy which produces a sensation of hearing in our ears. That is the sound. It is actually the form of energy which produces a sensation of hearing in our ears. That is the sound. So it is a form of energy. It is a form of energy which creates a sensation in our ears. That is sound. Clear? So we hear from various sources. We hear sound from various sources in our day-to-day life. For example, the sounds of bird, sound of machines, sound of vehicles, TV, radios, and there are many more. Right? So all these are actually a form of energy which actually creates a sensation in our ears. So that is what a sound is. Now, second part is how this sound are produced. How sound is produced. How sound is produced. How it is produced, or how sound is produced. Sound is basically produced by the vibrating objects. An object which can vibrate, or those objects which can vibrate, they actually produce sound. The vibrating objects actually produce sound. Clear? It is produced by vibration. Therefore, it is produced by vibration. Vibrating objects produces sound. So it is produced by vibration. An object which does not vibrate will not produce any sound. The object needs to be vibrate to produce sound. Clear? So by vibration it is produced. Now the question is, what is vibration? What is vibration? Vibration is actually the kind of to and fro motion. Vibration means it is a kind of rapid to and fro motion of an object. That is vibration. It is actually rapid to and fro motion of an object. That is what vibration is. And by vibration, sound is produced, which is actually the form of energy. Right? Now, the sound of our human voice, if we talk about the sound of our human voice, it is actually due to the vibration of vocal cord present in human body. The presence of vocal cord in human body is actually responsible for the sound of human voice. When the vocal cord vibrates, we hear the sound of human voice. So human voice is basically produced due to the vibration of vocal cords which is present in the human body. Clear? So that's what sound is produced, basically by vibration. Next, so we have discussed the sound, what is actually sound, how it is produced, what is actually vibration. Next comes to propagation of sound. Propagation of sound. How sound propagates. That means propagation means transfer. How sound actually transfers from one place to another place. That is propagation. How sound actually propagates. So to understand the propagation of sound, we first have to understand the two concepts. One is compression. Number one is compression, and number two is rarefaction. Compression and number two is rarefaction. These two concepts we need to understand the propagation of sound. Now, both compression and rarefaction, what are these? These compression and rarefaction both are actually longitudinal wave. The compression and rarefaction, both of them are longitudinal waves. Both of them are longitudinal waves. Clear? Now, when a vibrating object moves forward when a vibrating object moves forward in air, it actually pushes and compresses the air in front of it. Listen carefully. When a vibrating object moves forward in air, it actually pushes and compresses the air in front of it and then creates a compression. Clear? And when the vibrating object moves backward, it creates a rarefaction. That means if we are talking about the movement of vibrating object, when it pushes and compresses the air in front of it, then the wave is termed as compression. And when the vibrating object moves backward, then it creates rarefaction. So compression is basically the movement in front of it or in front of the vibrating object. Clear? That is the compression. So when a vibrating object moves forward in air, it pushes and compresses the air in front of it. Then it is known as compression. The wave moves in front of it. That is compression. Then the wave is termed as compression. And then when the vibrating object moves backwards, then the wave is termed as rarefaction. So both of them are longitudinal waves. Clear? Now what happens is that in compression, when the vibrating object moves forward, then the particles of the medium are very close to each other under the high pressure. When the vibrating object moves forward, then the particles of the medium, they are very close to each other or they are very close to one another, and in this case the pressure will be very high. Then it is termed as compression. And in case of rarefaction, it is also actually longitudinal wave. Both of them are longitudinal wave, but in case of rarefaction, the particles of the medium, they are far away from each other. Clear? And that's why here the pressure is low. So in case of compression, the particles are very close to each other. When the vibrating object moves forward in air, then the particles are very close to each other, and that's why the pressure is high. In that case, the pressure is high. Then we term the longitudinal wave as compression. And in case of rarefaction, the particles are far away from each other. The particles of the medium are far away from each other. That's why here the pressure is low. Then the wave creates in the medium termed as rarefaction. So both of them are longitudinal wave. One is compression and one is rarefaction. Now with the help of these two type of longitudinal wave, sound propagates from one place to another place. That is the propagation of sound. With the help of these two type of longitudinal wave, both compression and rarefaction, a sound propagates. That means the sound, it is a form of energy which change its position from one place to another place. Clear? That is the propagation of sound. How sound propagates from one place to another place. Next. Now, as the sound, it is actually the form of energy. As sound is a form of energy, so therefore, sound always needs a medium to travel. Sound always needs a medium to travel. Sound, it actually needs a medium to travel from one place to another place. Sound needs a medium. It needs a medium to travel. Clear? The substance through which sound travels is called medium. What is medium? The sound actually needs a medium to travel. Clear? And what is medium? The medium is the form through which the sound travels. So the substance through which sound travels, it is actually known as medium. The substance, medium is the substance through which sound travels. Medium is the substance through which sound travels. That is medium. Now medium can be solid. Medium can be solid. It can be liquid. It can be gas. These three are actually our medium. Clear? So sound wave requires these three medium, either solid or liquid or gas. Clear? So that it can travel. Basically it needs a medium. That means sound can travel in solid, it can also travel in liquid, it can also travel in gas. For example, suppose solid, example of solid like steel, sound can travel in steel. In liquid, example is like air, it can travel in example of liquid like water, example of liquid water, it can travel in water. Gas example is air, it can travel also in air. That means it actually needs a medium to travel. Clear? Now in case the question sometimes came in your exam that in vacuum can sound travel? Answer is no. Answer will be no. In vacuum sound cannot propagate or sound cannot travel because there is no medium. In vacuum there is no medium. Clear? Therefore in vacuum sound cannot travel. It always needs a medium, either solid or liquid or gas. Clear? Next, types of waves. Types of waves. Now as sound is a form of energy and it actually propagates, and it propagates actually in the form of waves. Sound actually propagates in the form of waves, actually longitudinal waves, basically longitudinal waves through compression and rarefaction. So basically sound propagates or sound changes its position in the form of waves. Now we have two types of waves. Basically we have two types of wave. One is longitudinal waves and another is transverse wave. One is longitudinal waves and another one is transverse wave. Now what is longitudinal wave? In case of longitudinal wave, the individual particle of the medium move in a direction parallel to the direction of propagation of disturbance. In longitudinal wave, the individual particles of the medium move in a direction parallel to the direction of propagation. Clear? So it is actually moves in a direction which is parallel to the direction of propagation. Parallel to the direction of propagation. The direction will be parallel. Particles, in this case particles will move to the parallel to the direction of propagation. Then longitudinal wave is produced. The particles in this case do not move from one place to another, but they simply oscillate back in their position. The particles here do not move from one place to another, they simply oscillate. Clear? Like suppose we have a spring. Suppose we have a spring here, the spring is like this, the spring is attached in A, B. Clear? If you push the spring or pull the spring, what will happen? The spring will oscillate like this. Clear? If you push the spring or pull the spring and let it back, the spring will oscillate like this. Clear? That means the spring will not change its position. The position is fixed, but it is simply oscillate. It simply oscillates. Clear? That is the longitudinal wave. Clear? Now coming to transverse wave. In case of transverse wave, the individual particles of the medium move about its mean position. In case of transverse wave, the individual particles of the medium move about its mean position, that is perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Here the direction is parallel and here the direction will be perpendicular. The individual particles will move to its mean position which is perpendicular to the direction of propagation. That means here the direction will be perpendicular. Here the direction will be perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Perpendicular to the direction of propagation. That is the transverse wave. Now in example, what is the example? Example of transverse wave, suppose light wave. Light is a transverse wave. Clear? It actually propagates perpendicularly to the direction of propagation. So example of transverse wave will be light wave. It is a transverse wave. Clear? Now there is an exception in transverse wave. There is an exception in case of transverse wave, that is the transverse wave can be produced only in solid and liquid. This transverse wave can only be produced solid and liquid. In gas, transverse wave is not produced. So transverse wave can only be seen in solid and liquid only. That is the exception. Clear? Now, if we saw the diagram of transverse wave, it actually looks like this. Suppose we have a pillar here. Suppose this is a pillar here, and we have a string attached to this pillar. Now, if you suppose if you move this spring, so it will move like this. It will move. If you have a string which is attached to this pillar, and if you are moving this spring, its movement will be like this. If you move this spring, its movement will be like this. That means the spring will, or the thread will vibrate up and down. The spring will vibrate. The spring will vibrate up and down. If you move the spring, or if you try to move the spring or thread, the spring will, or the thread will move up and down, and creating a transverse wave. This wave is transverse wave because the movement is perpendicular. The movement of wave is perpendicular. That is the transverse wave. Clear? The upper portion of this wave, and the lower portion of this wave has a definite name. The upper portion, that is this upper portion is known as crest. Upper portion is known as crest, and the lower portion, that is these are the lower portion. These lower portions are termed as trough. T-R-O-U-G-H. This lower portion are termed as trough. That means this wave has two parts. One is crest and another one is trough. Clear? So this is actually type of waves. One is your longitudinal wave, one is your transverse wave. Next, after types of waves, we have some term that we should discuss. Some terms related to sound. We should know these terms related to sound, because we are studying sound, and it is a form of energy. It actually propagates through waves. So to study sound wave, these terms we should know. It is actually the terms related to sound wave, related to sound wave. So first one comes to wavelength. What is wavelength? Next, after wavelength, that is frequency. After frequency, there is time period. Then comes it amplitude. After amplitude, last one is speed. Therefore, we have all total 5 terms: wavelength, frequency, time period, amplitude, and speed. Now we will discuss these terms one by one. First, wavelength. What is wavelength? Wavelength is actually the distance between the two consecutive compression or two consecutive rarefaction. Now, consecutive compression or consecutive rarefaction. We have discussed some times ago that what is compression and what is rarefaction. The compression was when the vibrating object moves forward it, and the object or the particle pushes it in front of them. That is the compression. And what is rarefaction? Rarefaction is when the particle moves in a medium and they pushes the particles in the backward direction or backwards. That is the rarefaction. Both of them are two types of longitudinal waves. Now, wavelength is actually the distance between them. That is the distance between two consecutive compression and two consecutive rarefaction. The distance between them is actually the wavelength. So it is basically the distance. Now, compression is denoted by capital C and rarefaction is denoted by capital R. So the distance between two consecutive compression or the distance between two consecutive rarefaction is the wavelength. It is the distance between two consecutive compression or two consecutive rarefaction. Clear? And the wavelength is actually the distance. Its SI unit therefore will be meter. SI unit will be meter because it is actually the distance. Therefore, SI unit of wavelength will be meter. It is represented through lambda. That is the sign of lambda. Wavelength is represented through a sign that is lambda. Next, after wavelength, frequency. Frequency means total number of complete waves produced in 1 second. Frequency is total number of complete wave or oscillation produced in 1 second. That is frequency. That means frequency is the number of oscillations. Number of oscillations. Oscillations means total number of complete waves. Total number of complete waves. Oscillations means total number of complete waves. That is the number of oscillation produced in 1 second. Produced in 1 second. That is your frequency. Clear? So it is actually the number of vibration per second. Number of oscillations or total number of complete wave means number of vibration per second. That is frequency. We can also write the definition like this: number of vibrations per second. Number of vibrations per second. That is also frequency. Clear? Now frequency, it is represented through a symbol nu. Frequency, it is represented through a symbol nu. That is the symbol of nu. It is called as nu. That is known as frequency. What is the SI unit of frequency? The SI unit of frequency is Hertz. 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 It is represented as capital H, small z, Hertz. Hertz is actually named as a form of scientist. He is actually the SI unit Hertz is actually named after or in honor of a scientist, Rudolf Hertz. The scientist name is Rudolf Hertz. The scientist name is Rudolf Hertz. In the honor of his name, the SI unit is of frequency is named as Hertz, because this scientist Rudolf Hertz actually discovered some photoelectric effect where he actually coined this term frequency. So in honor of this scientist, the SI unit of frequency is termed as Hertz. So that is the frequency. Next, after frequency, time period. Time period is represented by symbol capital T. That is the time period. Now what is time period? It is actually the time taken by two consecutive compression or two consecutive rarefaction to cross a fixed point. Time period is actually the time taken by two consecutive compression or two consecutive rarefaction to cross a fixed point. That is time taken or time period. Clear? Now there is a relation between time period and frequency. What is the relation? Time period T equals to 1 by nu. That is, time period equals to 1 by frequency. Nu is the frequency, T is the time period. That means time period equals to 1 by frequency. Clear? Time period is 1 by frequency. That means time period and frequency, both of them are inversely related. Both of them are inversely related. Now unit. What is the SI unit of time? SI unit of time is second. Therefore the time period of SI unit also will be second, because time period is nothing but actually the time. It is actually time. So unit of time is second. Therefore the unit of time period will also be second. Next, after time period, amplitude. After time period, amplitude. It is denoted by capital A. A for amplitude. What is amplitude? Amplitude is the maximum displacement of the particle of the medium from their original mean position. When the wave crosses, or when the wave passes through a medium, when a wave passes through a medium, the maximum displacement of the wave from the mean position. This is the amplitude. So amplitude is maximum displacement from the mean position. Maximum displacement from mean position. When a wave crosses a medium, or when a wave passes through a medium, the maximum displacement of the particle from the mean position or from the original position, that is the amplitude. Clear? It is denoted by capital A. Now what is the SI unit of amplitude? As the amplitude is the displacement, actually maximum displacement, so unit of displacement is meter, therefore unit of amplitude will also be meter, because amplitude is nothing but the maximum displacement calculated from the mean position. That is amplitude. So amplitude, SI unit of amplitude will also be meter. Next one, last term, that is speed. What is speed? The distance travelled by the wave in 1 second. The distance travelled by the wave in 1 second is called the speed, or velocity. You can also term as velocity of the wave. It is known as speed or velocity. Speed or velocity. What is the definition of speed and velocity in case of sound? When the wave, the distance of the wave traveled in 1 second, or the distance traveled by the wave in 1 second. That is called speed of the wave or velocity of the wave. Clear? And we know the formula of speed or velocity, that is distance covered by time. That is the formula of speed. Distance covered by time. That is speed. What is the SI unit? SI unit of speed is meter per second. That is the SI unit of speed. SI unit is meter per second. Clear? And here the speed is represented with V. The speed is represented or denoted by V. Clear? Now we have already discussed wavelength, frequency, time period, amplitude and speed. Now since distance is traveled, distance here actually the wavelength, distance of sound is actually represented as wavelength, because wavelength says the distance between the two consecutive compression or two consecutive rarefaction, that is the wavelength. So wavelength is basically the distance. Now we have a relation between wavelength, time period, wavelength, time period, and there is frequency. Wavelength, time period and frequency, that means nu. We have a relation between these three: lambda, that is wavelength, t, that is time period, and nu, that is frequency. What is the relation? The relation is that is lambda, t and nu. The relation is here: lambda is frequency, lambda is wavelength, t is time period, and nu is frequency. Now the lambda is actually the distance traveled by the wave, that is wavelength, t is time period, and so therefore if lambda is the distance, t is the time period, then v speed will be lambda by t. If lambda is the wavelength is basically the distance, so lambda is the wavelength, that is distance, and t is the time period, so distance by time period will be speed, that is v equal to lambda by t. And we know that frequency nu is equal to 1 by t. That is the relation between time period and frequency. Nu equals to 1 by t, or frequency equals to 1 by time period. Therefore we will replace this value in the above equation. We will replace the value of nu equals to 1 by t, that is, we will replace the value of t in this equation, or put the value of t in the above equation. Therefore the v will be lambda into 1 by t. We can write v equal to lambda by t, that is, we can write v equal to lambda into 1 by t, and 1 by t means nu, therefore it will be nu lambda. Therefore v equals to nu lambda, that is the relation, v equals to nu lambda. Therefore speed or velocity equals to frequency into wavelength. This is the speed, this is the nu is the frequency, and lambda, this is the wavelength. So therefore relation is speed equals to frequency into wavelength. Clear? So that's it for today. We will discuss again on the next session. Thank you.